So many moments, so many memories. I think there was a time when I was invited to the Houses of Parliament to be recognised as one of the top 10 most outstanding black students in the UK, wow. Which was a big honour for me because my grades were actually terrible. But obviously for the work I was doing in the community, I was recognised in that, and that's like a huge feat. That's something that you don't even put on the board because you don't even know. I didn't even know that award existed. But I think the powerful thing was having my mom there with me and my family, and there to sort of experience those moments. My mom was actually meant to fly out. She changed her flight date just to make the ceremony, and I think it meant a lot to her. Wow. She hears a lot about success that I go through and all her kids go through, but she's not always there to experience it because she lives abroad. But just having her there in the moment, it was very powerful.
You made it into a play.
Yeah, recently, again, I just wanted to share the message in a different form. Some people love to hear you speak, some people love to read your book, some people don't like either. So I thought, what else could I use as a vehicle to get this message across? So I created a drama piece around the whole, not really around the book, but around concepts that I've talked about in the book in terms of becoming a successful entrepreneur. So I wrote, produced and directed a play called Make It Happen. And it was a sort of sellout on day one. It was an amazing event. It was the same way I'd never been an author before, and then I wrote the book, I all of a sudden became an author. I'd never actually directed a full-length play before. So it really did take a long process of me actually reinventing myself. So I had to go back to my old tricks and actually start tricking my mind to doing things. Seriously, I actually booked the theatre before I'd written the script. Wow. That's how crazy it is. I'd hired the whole cast before I'd even finished the script. So now that I had the cast there and the theatre ready and paid for, I knew I had to put on the show. The show must go on. Your confidence comes from what you put into your mind, okay? Because all it is a state of mind, confidence. And at that young age, I was surrounded by a lot of people, and I deliberately surrounded myself with a lot of people who are equal thinkers. These are people who think far above the rest of the chickens in the world, okay? Like these people who you tell them I'm going to make 50,000 a year, they're like, is that it? These are like amazing people. So from a young age, me surrounding myself with people like that, it sort of rubbed off on me as well. And it was just sort of the norm to aspire to great things, and age wasn't really a barrier as far as I was concerned. As long as I had that mentality, I had that confidence. And also I grew up in the church as well, and that played a big part in terms of my life, in terms of reading what the Bible says about who I am. And I was like, wow, if that's what God thinks of me, who am I to think less? I ain't gonna argue with God, So I had a high perception of myself, not to the point where it was egotistical, but to the point where I can do anything I set my mind to. Because there is power within me, and I understood that from a young age. That's why I like to encourage other young people, don't waste your youth. Don't think that you're gonna push it off to a later time. As long as you have the right mentality now, you have the right ability. There was one week where I went to the theatre about 5 times every single night just to get ideas and just to see how things are done, just to immerse myself in that new world that I was going into. So it did become a whole process of just reinventing. So I had to put everything aside and just focus, that laser sharp focus on becoming the best director I could be. So that's basically what it took, and if I realised that I could reinvent myself into a director, if I want to become an actor tomorrow, I could do the same thing. If I want to become a basketball player, I know the principles to apply to be successful in every area. If I want to become a politician or a doctor, I might not be the greatest in the world, but I'll be the greatest that I can be. And it's just by applying the same principles, the principles of focus, the principles of paying attention to detail, the principles of studying, studying and revising, and the principle of actually practicing and actually putting yourself in the deep end, because that's when you learn how to swim properly. You never know what you're capable of until you're forced to.